So I wanted to give an update as to where we are with the TIA Portal version 20 course. This has been in development for 3 months now, I think, and is really starting to take shape with 11, 12 hours worth of content now. It's becoming more complete in its own right when it comes to covering the basics. So if we have a look at where we are right now, we are currently here in the programming basics section. We've covered the course introduction, introduction to TIA Portal, and this covers things such as the what is TIA Portal, installing and licensing, and then we've moved on to navigating the TIA Portal environments. And this has things such as covering portal view, project view. The TIA Portal settings is missing at the moment because it's so big. It's absolutely massive. So I'm kind of going through step by step and covering every single option that's available in TIA Portal. But as you can appreciate, that's quite a lot. I don't know if you've been into the settings, but it's absolutely huge. So I'm sort of just getting that done as I can. And once it's done, it will just be released and available. We've covered window management, toolbox and task cards, and also the project tree to give us a full feeling of how TIA Portal is navigated. And then we've done devices and hardware configuration, where we've covered things like adding a CPU, adding the modules for that CPU, naming them, going through the devices properties, also setting up where you locate your physical wiring or your signal to a CPU tag and how that comes into the system. And then we're into our programming basics. So this covers things like the TIA Portal programming introduction. It covers different languages, things like the organization blocks, functions, all of the different programming objects that are required in TIA Portal, when to use them, how to structure your data, what UDTs are, what the difference between instance data and global data is. It's the absolute fundamentals of what you need to know in order to get started with writing logic. And then we go even deeper into each individual programming language with quite an extensive set of lessons for each type of language. So that's ladder logic, which is the most common language still that's used. And then we have function block diagram, structured control language or structured text, cause and effect matrix, graph, and there is even a small lesson on statement list, although it's not as in-depth as the other languages. And then we also cover how to choose the correct language. And then we come on to our supporting concepts, and these are the bits in the middle that help bring everything together. So the difference between tags and symbolic addressing, libraries and reuse, diagnostics, cross-referencing, the tools that you need to actually bring everything that you've understood for each language object together and why we might write logic in a particular way. And then right now, what's happening at the very moment, the examples on workthroughs are being done. So these are just examples that help us bring things together. And then there's a basic quiz at the end, just to make sure that we do understand the core principles before coming into other areas. And from there, we have the rest of this spiral to complete. So we're about a third of the way through at this point, and we should be at about 12 hours by the time the workshop and example lessons come out. But there has been a slight rejig to the graphic here, where this networking project components has been moved to a bit later in the course. We'll be coming on to PLC Sim, PLC Sim Advanced, and HMI development, and then an example project that's much broader that covers a complete control system, and that will make up the second part of the course. And then finally, we will move on to this here to complete your full understanding of TIA Portal. It's worth noting as well that this stuff will be on Udemy, released in 3 parts. So the first part stops at programming basics, which we're just about to complete, and then the next part finishes at this example project tank, and then the final part is released in part 3, which completes the 3-part course. If we have a look down here at the actual curriculum, we can see that everything so far, this here still says it's in development for navigating to your portal environment, but everything so far is already available up to where we are in development. So again, coming here, this is a active development and learning course. As soon as I create some content and it is released to the course, anybody who's subscribed on the Do and Grow platform at leonb.me is immediately available to access that content. So there's quite a lot to go through here. You can see the individual lessons and the devices and hardware configuration. This all follows that spiral at the top here. So as we go through here, you'll see these sections down here. There's still lots and lots to add, but you can see that you have a basic about timed for completion. So programming basics, blocks and structure will take about an hour and a half to complete just the video lessons. If you want to go away and do additional learning and understanding, it could take longer. We have programming languages split into separate videos. So if you come into this section here, ladder logic, you can see it's made up of 11 videos, and the total length of all of those videos is an hour and 15 minutes. Same for function block diagram, slightly smaller at 35 minutes. Control structure or structured text, an hour and a half. And then it keeps going like that until we've covered all of the languages, finishing off with how to choose the correct language. And we are here right now where we're doing the supporting lessons. There's 2 more lessons to come out here, and then our examples and workthroughs, and that will complete part 1. So I get a lot of questions on LinkedIn about where we are with this course, and I appreciate that people want to jump on it and sort of push through, but it takes a really long time to get this stuff done. I have to build everything into your portal. I have to film it, edit it, subtitle it, upload it, and it does take a long time. So thank you for the patience. I'm trying to do it as quick as possible, but I also have other commitments as well. And it's also been a holiday period. So, but as I've always said, if you come back up, if you are a Do and Grow member, if you come to this bit here where it says active development and learning and click manage membership, you're free to dip in and out as much as you want. You won't lose your progress. If you decide that you're going to leave the monthly subscription and come back in 3 months' time, you're not penalized in any way. So you're free to just come in and come out whenever you want. So hopefully that gives a good update of where we are. And hopefully you can see that as we go into 2026, we're coming on to more advanced concepts. We're starting to put in HMIs, and we'll have a more holistic approach to TIA Portal. And then we finish it off with some of the more advanced concepts of library use, structured programming and control, and also looking at some of the wider aspects of TIA Portal, like their security, different communication protocols, where to find Siemens support, like libraries and things like that. And you should come out of this course with a very, very good understanding of how to get the most out of TIA Portal. And as always, I am always available for support on Discord, on LinkedIn, or just by commenting on each lesson that you need support with.